Greetings in the precious divine name of the Most High, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First Jah, Rastafari. You're in tune to Ras-Berry Radio 101.1 the best. Here with your host, Andrew Tafari, on the Thoughts from Andrew show, which is a temple of enlightenment. Today, I want to explore the difference between religion and spirituality because I think a lot of people confuse and mix up spirituality with religion. They blur the lines when it comes to those two topics or those two ideas, and it kind of annoys me. So religion, I'll start off with religion. Religion, to me, and I don't work off of a dictionary definition because I don't really need to use a dictionary definition, because all you have to do is just really explore the history of religion, and you'll know what religion is all about. So if we look at the history of religion, you'll know that religion was created really to enslave people. If you start, we'll start even though religion has been created in other parts of the world, but we'll start off with Europe. If you look at religion in Europe, and obviously Christianity is the biggest religion in Europe, or the main religion, it was created by the Queen and by the Pope to enslave people, not just Africans or Black Americans or people who are of African descent from the Caribbean, but even poor whites, right? So religion was created to indoctrinate people, and even the Bible, which started out as scrolls, which originate from the East, right, were tampered with, and if you look into the New Testament, you'll notice that and even in the old version of the Bible, the Old Testament, a lot of those scrolls were tampered with. So you'll see stuff like in the Bible, like your masters obey your master and stuff like that. So that alone tells you right there that religion was created to indoctrinate people, to enslave people. So this is the reason why I don't really deal with religion. I'm more spiritual, and also religion was you, or even today, religion is still used. Not as much as it was in those times, but religion was used to fight wars. Like when Rome wanted to conquer the Middle East, where they had Muslims or Islam. The Christians would say that because their religion is because they're Muslim, or because they're Islam, or if they're Buddhist or whatever other religion, that would be an excuse. That was used as an excuse to fight, because really what they wanted was the land, or this nation wanted to conquer that nation. So they would use the religion as an excuse to fight. So religion to me is a very negative thing. It's very much a box. You know what I mean? Saying that if you do this, you're wrong. If you do this, you're right. And all kind of stuff, which a lot of these people, quite frankly, I don't think a lot of these people have any ideas or real knowledge of any of this, and I don't need the whole idea of religion where somebody's preaching something to you. I don't really need someone to preach to me and to bring me closer to Jah. You know what I'm saying? So that's religion, and I don't deal with religion, and a lot of people confuse preaching with giving praises. If I pray to Jah, to the Almighty, to my Lord, who I have a connection with, that doesn't make me religious, and that doesn't make me a preacher, right? So that's religion, and that's the difference between praising and preaching, because preaching is what they do in the church. You know what I'm saying? Like saying you will go to hell if this, that, and da. And no, that's preaching. I never engage in that type of thing, because that's also judging people. And if Christians or people who refer to the Bible as a holy book, which I don't refer to it as a holy book. To me, the Bible is a historical book, something that you can learn from. Um, and you can really, if you look into, really, the Bible just gives you a description of how the world is, right? Because if you look at like Jesus Christ then in the Bible, right, who they call Jesus Christ, um Jesus Christ was crucified. Now in this world, in this life, if you look at it, there's people who've been crucified in that way, or if you look at Pharaoh, Pharaoh was the leader of Egypt, a brutal leader, right, against the Israelites. Now if you look at in today's world, there are leaders who are like that. So you can find the same characters today. So basically the Bible just gives you a look at how things are. You know what I'm saying? It's not really, to me, it's not really a religious book, but some people refer to it as a religious book. So within that book, it says, leave all judgment unto Jah. So how can I preach and judge someone and cast judgment and say this person is like that and that person is like that, when it says leave all judgment to Jah, right? So that's religion. So I don't get caught up in religion. Now spirituality is a totally different thing, right? Um, a lot of people, they really don't understand what spirituality is. Well, spirituality is basically looking within yourself. It's basically exploring yourself and being free within, being free and not afraid to let your spirit explore in a sense, and being open to things. Um, and when you're spiritually inclined, or when you live more on the spiritual side, you become a lot more closer to nature. Even the plants, the trees, all of these things, you become a lot more sensitive to it. And you start to make connections with these different elements in life, and parts of nature, and not only with these things but with people. When I did a song called Spiritual World, when I say we are living in a spiritual world, a lot of people say, we're probably saying, oh, I'm crazy, what do I mean? But when you become more spiritual and you start having visions like in your sleep, and because then now you're living within yourself and your spirit starts to explore and take you to different dimensions, and you start seeing these things, then you start understanding what I mean when I say we're living in a spiritual world. You know what I'm saying? We really are. There's spirits around us. Because just because you don't see, you know what I mean? But if you're really in tune with your spirit, you can feel a lot of the energy around you, which is all spiritual. And a spiritual levity, it doesn't really put other people down. It doesn't discriminate against people. It's just about love. You know what I mean? And as I said, being in tune with yourself. And it's the sweetest way of living. You know what I'm saying? It's the sweetest way of living is when you live a spiritual in a spiritual way. That's the sweetest way of living. So that's the difference between a spiritual lifestyle and a religious lifestyle. Right? They're two different things. But being spiritual doesn't mean that, oh, I'm not close to Jah. In fact, being spiritual is more closer to Jah than even religion. Because I think a lot of people who are religious, not to put anybody down, but I don't even think they're close to Jah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not judging them. Like I said, I don't know for sure, but to me, I don't even think they're close to Jah, because they're somebody else is conditioning their mind and their view of Jah. You know what I mean? Of the reality around them. So to me, that's almost like that's like slavery, or like, what I mean, there's no freedom there. You know what I mean? Because if Jah created me, then I must have a mind for myself. You know what I'm saying? That means that I must be able to think or come to some kind of reality, or some kind of overstanding. Some, they say understand, but you can't understand, you have to overstand, right? So you come to your own overstanding, or your own conclusion of what life is and what Jah is, and you don't become afraid to look within yourself and be confident in your own thoughts. You know what I mean? Because if you can think for yourself, right, which is what spirituality allows you to think for yourself, whereas religion, as I said, religion, somebody else is kind of thinking for you. You know what I mean? Because religion is created by people. So in other words, you are living by somebody else's view of life, and I don't see any freedom or any room for growth that way. You know what I'm saying? Whereas spirituality, you know, you're allowed you're more free. It allows for more. There's more space for you to to grow. In terms of how you look at life, and you know the way you think, the type of things that you do with your life. You know what I mean? There's more freedom. So that's why I tend to lean towards the spiritual life. But a lot of people, they're still on a, what I would call it now, they're still on a physical plane. Because a lot of people think that, like, okay, even for example, sex. People think that sex is only something that can happen physically. But there's also spiritual sex, because we can make connections spiritually. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they still don't even know, and they might think I'm crazy for saying this, but we can connect during sleep. You know what I'm saying? We can make brain to brain contact. You know what I mean? During sleep. But it depends on how spiritual you are. You see, I guess been I've been spiritual for so long, and I've been exploring in my own self and getting more in tune into my spiritual side, that it has allowed me to do these type of things. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so we can make contact in a spiritual way. You know what I'm saying? And really do these type of things. But if you close your mind off, or if you allow other people to mold your mind or control your mind, or tell you like, oh, this is wrong and that is right, and all of those type of things, then really you're shutting yourself off from possibilities of things that you can do. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't just have to travel physically. I don't just have to get on a plane and reach to California. I can travel there in my mind. Right? I can right now, you can close your eyes and say, all right, you want to reach Japan. And you can reach there. Your spirit can reach there, because your spirit is energy. Your spirit can go where it really wants to go. Right? And so that's how deep spirituality is. And if you're doing something like writing or expressing, spirituality is the best thing to live. You know what I'm saying? Because you really start to you really think some things which are new, which are different, and you speak about things that people don't think of, because you're living within yourself. A lot of people think that the answer is outside of themselves. A lot of people, they look outside of themselves all the time for the answers and for things about life, but they never look inside of themselves. They never realize that within you is a world, because even inside of yourself, all your different organs, those are little life forms unto themselves. Your heart is a world unto itself. Your brain is a world unto itself. Your lungs is a world unto itself. Because within those things, there's little things that live. You know what I'm saying? Every part of you is a world to itself, and then your total, is a world to yourself. So if you can live within yourself and explore yourself, then that's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? But a lot of people, I don't think they get this deep into life. And spirits are, everything has a spirit. Like I said, being in nature, like if you go outside where there's a lot of trees and you just sit there for a while and you listen to the wind blowing, and you really close your eyes and listen to things around you, you can really feel the energy and the spirit of all these different things. And if you can soak that up within your spirit, it gives you it's the most unbelievable trip you'll go on when you really get more spiritual. But when you remain in a religious state of mind, you kind of become afraid. And even though a lot of people today, they'll tell you, "Oh, I don't live by religious," and a lot of people still are enslaved by religion, which is why they're so afraid of things. You know what I mean? A lot of people are still indoctrinated. They're still, even though they tell you, "Oh, they don't go to church," and they're still living like as if they were as if they're religious, or as if they're part of this church or that church or that denomination, or you know what I'm saying? Because I don't see how can the thing about religion, it divides people. You know what I'm saying? It pits people against each other. And how can that make Jah happy? How can that make the Almighty or the Creator? How can that make the Creator happy? You know, we're supposed to be together. You know what I mean? Spirituality is inclusive of everything. You know, which is what Rastafari is. Rastafari is not a religion; it's a spiritual way of life. You know what I'm saying? It's getting more in tune with your spiritual self and freedom to be free. You know what I'm saying? Because and that's how that is why I say I don't deal with religion, because that is just another instrument or another tool to enslave people. You know what I mean? To keep you in a box. You know what I mean? And so that's the difference between, because like I said earlier, every time when people they say, oh, they think that what I'm living is religious. I'm not living a religious lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And I'm living a spiritual lifestyle. And yeah, so that's the difference between that. And it doesn't matter how many times you hear it or whatever, but the reality is spirituality is the sweetest way you can live. You know what I'm saying? It's healthy for you, but you have to nurture it and you have to nourish it. You know what I'm saying? You have to nourish that spiritual growth and that spiritual development, and trying to expand in that way, and how you nurture it, and how you, as I say, you be open to new things. You know what I'm saying? You Music is a very spiritual thing too. If you're playing music, that helps to music actually engages your spirit. Like when I sing music or I sing a song, after I sing a song and I close my eyes, I can start to see things that I didn't see before. You know what I'm saying? It's as if the music engaged, it opened up certain things in me, in my mind, in my soul, and I start to see things that I didn't see before. You know what I'm saying? So I guess because I play music and because I love nature, and even stuff like, a lot of people hate it. They don't. A lot of people are so afraid, even though they use this plant, which is the herb plant or the hemp plant or the marijuana plant, right, or the ganja plant. That that plant, when they say you are what you eat or you are what you consume. Well, when you smoke herb, a lot of people don't realize that you take on a plant spirit, which is why when people smoke herb, they think all those things, because plants are very wise. So when you smoke the herb, just like if you were to eat chicken, or you were to eat pigs, like people who eat a lot of pork, they become very piggish. They become very boorish. Why? Because they're eating pig, and pigs are boorish. You are what you eat. So the herb plant now is a thing that when you smoke it, it opens up your spirituality, and it helps you to expand on your spiritual growth and your spiritual development. So basically, that's the difference between religion and spirituality. And like I said earlier, I'm spiritually inclined. I'm not religious, and I will never be religious. And me being spiritual, me living in a spiritual way, which maybe for everyone it's not that way, but that doesn't mean I'm not close to Jah. I'm very close to Jah. I'm very close to the Almighty. But I'm going in that direction in a spiritual way, because I want to avoid being in a box. My being and my spirit always wants to be free to roam and to explore new ideas. But when I say be free, I don't mean like, oh, I don't want to deal with people. I don't mean it in that sense. I don't mean that when I say, oh, I want to be free, doesn't mean I don't want to work and earn a living, or I don't I don't respect rules, or I don't respect not rules not rules like what enslave people, but just general things like rules like, or respect people. Like those type of rules I can deal with, like show respect or show up to work on time. That's different. You know what I'm saying? But not the brain crushing rules, the rules that going to stop you from expanding on your mind and learning and expressing the reality and things that we learn in life, and sharing knowledge with people and growing spiritually. That's what I mean when I say I don't obey those type of rules, the rules that stop you from doing that, which is why I say I don't deal with religion, because that's what religion does. It indoctrinates people and crushes your ability to think. And if I should allow someone else to think for me, then I might as well call myself a robot. And I refuse to be a robot. So that's why I like spirituality, because it allows for me to expand and grow my mind. So that's the difference between religion and spirituality. And walk safe. Hope you have a beautiful day. Rastafari lives.